Riley Morrison had spent her entire 32nd year of life believing that her best friend since college, Tiffany Chen, was the sister she never had, the maid of honor who would stand beside her at the altar, and the one person in the world who understood her dreams better than anyone else, which made the betrayal that unfolded on a sunny Thursday morning in March feel like a knife twisting in her chest when she called Magnolia Manor to confirm her wedding booking, only to be told that someone else had already reserved her dream venue for the exact same date she had discussed with Tiffany just 24 hours earlier. Riley was a wedding photographer who had spent 5 years building her business from nothing, working 18-hour days to capture other women's perfect moments while dreaming of her own fairy tale wedding at the historic plantation-style mansion outside Atlanta that she had fallen in love with during a client's engagement shoot 3 years ago. She had saved every penny from her photography business to afford the $15,000 venue fee, had planned every detail from the Magnolia centerpieces to the string quartet that would play during the ceremony, and had shared every single one of these dreams with Tiffany during their weekly coffee dates where they would spend hours planning Riley's wedding to her fiancé Jake, a kind-hearted firefighter who had proposed on Christmas Eve with her grandmother's vintage engagement ring. But when Riley called Magnolia Manor that Thursday morning to put down her deposit, the venue coordinator's apologetic voice delivered the news that shattered her world. Someone named Tiffany Chen had booked the venue for June 15th, the exact date Riley had been planning, claiming that she had been planning her wedding there for over a year and presenting a detailed portfolio that included all of Riley's ideas down to the specific flower arrangements and the vintage lace table, runners that Riley had spent months sourcing from estate sales across Georgia. The betrayal cut deeper than just the stolen venue because Tiffany had been single for 3 years, claiming she was too focused on her marketing career to date seriously. But suddenly she was engaged to a mysterious fiancé named Brandon who she had never mentioned before, and was planning an elaborate wedding that seemed to materialize overnight with suspicious perfection. When Riley confronted Tiffany that evening at their usual coffee shop, her former best friend's response was even more devastating than the theft itself. Tiffany laughed and said that Riley had always been too naive for her own good, that she had been planning this wedding for months after meeting Brandon at a conference, and that maybe Riley should have moved faster if she really wanted that venue instead of just talking about it endlessly without taking action. The cruelty in Tiffany's voice revealed a side of her personality that Riley had never seen before, a coldness that made her realize their entire friendship had been built on lies and manipulation, with Tiffany using their intimate conversations to steal not just Riley's wedding plans but her deepest hopes and dreams about what her perfect day would look like. But Riley Morrison was not the helpless victim that Tiffany believed her to be. She was a successful businesswoman who had built her photography career by being detail-oriented, persistent, and incredibly skilled at reading people and situations, qualities that she now channeled into the most methodical revenge campaign of her life. Her investigation began with social media stalking that immediately revealed inconsistencies in Tiffany's engagement story. The mysterious Brandon appeared in exactly 0 photos on any of Tiffany's social media accounts despite their supposed relationship lasting over a year, and when Riley used her professional photography connections to research Brandon Matthews, the name Tiffany had mentioned, she discovered that no such person existed in Atlanta's business community or anywhere else that should intersect with Tiffany's life. The deeper Riley dug, the more disturbing the truth became. Tiffany wasn't actually engaged at all, but had invented an entire fake relationship and fake wedding to steal Riley's venue and humiliate her in the most public way possible, apparently as revenge for some perceived slight that Riley couldn't even identify. But the story got even stranger when Riley's detective work revealed that Tiffany had been living a double life for months, using dating apps under fake names to meet men for expensive dinners and weekend trips that she funded by maxing out credit cards and taking cash advances, all while maintaining the facade of a successful marketing executive when in reality she had been fired from her job 6 months earlier for embezzling company funds to pay for her increasingly lavish lifestyle. Armed with this information, Riley realized that Tiffany's fake wedding was actually an elaborate scam designed to collect wedding gifts and cash from their mutual friends and Tiffany's family members, who had no idea that the groom didn't exist and that their generous contributions were funding Tiffany's fraudulent lifestyle rather than celebrating a genuine marriage. Riley's revenge began with a simple phone call to Magnolia Manor, where she used her professional relationship with the venue coordinator to explain that she had reason to believe the Chen wedding booking might be fraudulent, providing evidence that the supposed room didn't exist and suggesting that the venue might want to verify the legitimacy of the booking before the date arrived. The venue immediately launched their own investigation and discovered that Tiffany had paid her deposit with a check from a bank account that was already overdrawn, making the entire booking invalid and allowing Riley to reclaim her dream venue with a legitimate deposit and proper documentation. But Riley wasn't satisfied with simply getting her venue back. She wanted to ensure that Tiffany faced consequences for the emotional damage she had caused and the financial fraud she was perpetrating against innocent people who believed they were celebrating a genuine wedding. Using her network of photography clients and industry connections, Riley began quietly spreading the truth about Tiffany's fake engagement, providing evidence to mutual friends and family members who had already bought expensive gifts or contributed to what they believed was a wedding fund but was actually funding Tiffany's criminal lifestyle. The domino effect was swift and brutal. Tiffany's parents, who had been planning to pay for what they believed was their daughter's dream wedding, discovered not only that the groom didn't exist, but that Tiffany had been forging documents and lying about her employment status for months, leading them to cut off all financial support and demand that she enter therapy for what they recognized as serious psychological problems. Her former colleagues at the marketing firm where she had worked learned about her embezzlement and fake wedding scheme, leading to criminal charges that would result in both jail time and a permanent criminal record that would make it impossible for her to work in marketing or any other professional field that required background checks. But the most satisfying moment of Riley's revenge came 2 weeks before what would have been Tiffany's fake wedding date, when Tiffany called her sobbing and begging for forgiveness, claiming that she had only stolen the wedding plans because she was desperate and jealous of Riley's happiness, and asking if there was any way they could work things out and return to being best friends. Riley's response was calm, measured, and final. She told Tiffany that true friends don't steal each other's dreams out of jealousy, that criminal behavior has consequences that forgiveness can't erase, and that while she didn't hate her former friend, she could never trust someone who had proven capable of such elaborate deception and cruelty. 6 months later, Riley married Jake at Magnolia Manor in the exact wedding she had always dreamed of, surrounded by friends and family who appreciated the genuine love and commitment they were celebrating, while Tiffany was serving the first year of her 3-year sentence for embezzlement and fraud in a state prison where she had plenty of time to reflect on how her jealousy and dishonesty had destroyed not just her friendship with Riley, but her relationship with her family, her career, and her freedom. The wedding photos that Riley's colleague captured that day showed a bride who was radiant not just because she had gotten her dream venue, but because she had learned that real happiness comes from building genuine relationships with people who celebrate your success rather than trying to steal it, and that sometimes the most important victory isn't getting revenge on someone who wronged you, but discovering that you were strong enough to overcome their betrayal and create something beautiful in spite of their attempts to destroy your dreams. Today, Riley runs a successful photography business that specializes in intimate weddings for couples who value authenticity over extravagance, and she often tells her clients that the most beautiful weddings are built on foundations of trust, honesty, and genuine love. Qualities that no amount of money can buy and no act of betrayal can destroy when they're real and mutual and strong enough to survive whatever challenges life presents to people who are brave enough to commit to building something lasting together.